Hello, welcome back to our TCAP commentary. Today we're gonna look at something a little bit different, right? We're doing a tier list for Hansen versus Predator and a guest we have, right? But yeah, I've been gone for a little bit, right? I haven't felt like recording at all or editing or doing any of that, right? I haven't posted in a while. But I got this idea from someone that recommended this to me on Instagram. They go by August, I think. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna look at this, right? I've been sick. Finals week is next week, so like I've been a little bit busy, right? So this video is gonna be very quick, man. Just for something for you to, I guess, know that I'm alive, because I think it's been more than a week, I think. But anyway, yeah, we're ranking some of the Predators from Hansen versus Predator, right? There's a difference, right? And I actually went on the template maker thing. I didn't make this, right? I actually edited it, right? I edited the template and like added like a few of them that weren't in here, right? Like I think Mike Manzi wasn't here. Jesse Velez wasn't here. Charles Lawrence wasn't here. Ron Knight. Skipping one. Vincent Ambrosia wasn't here. Ron Knight was not here, right? I know Ron Knight is not a Predator, or so I know, right? I don't know, man. Sometimes he confuses me, right? But anyway, God, I sound so bad, like, to me. You know what I mean? When your sinuses are all like tough, right? But anyway, so we have banger, man. This is the top of the top, right? The cream of the crop. Then we have classic. You know, when it's a classic, it's good, but it's not banger. It's not a banger, right? So mid is freak. Okay, mid is freak. That's the middle, of course. And there's lame, right? You're just lame. And then there's so shit, man. So this is the tier list, right? We'll see where everyone lands. I don't know what exactly I'm rating them at. Like I might do like a second round, because it might be like entertaining and then like the most like, you know, like the one I hated the most. I guess I'll do it. So yeah, we'll do who I like the most. So of course, you already know who I'm picking first, right? Ron Knight's a banger. You already know I'm picking Ron Knight as a banger, man. He's a banger, right? That's just all I can say. But okay, now actually trying the actual fucking the actual tier list. So banger. Okay, there's only two of them that I would consider like my favorite, and they're both for very different reasons. But I guess we'll just slap them on. So okay, John Dupay, right? It's John Dupay. Yeah, John Dupay. For some reason, it sounded very wrong in my head, right? But John Dupay's a banger, easy. You know what? I'll put Jeff Sokol in classic, because I don't like him that much. Like, I like him because he's entertaining and he makes me mad. You know what I mean? And I'm just glad that he got caught. You know what I mean? But he's not one for me to be like, oh, I love him, right? There's a difference. I know you see the picture for Vincent Ambrosia, but I was going pretty quick and I didn't realize he was smiling in this picture when I searched it up, right? But anyway, Vincent Ambrosia, you know how much I love this guy, right? I love how he cries. He's a really good crier. But yeah, he's a banger, right? He's a banger. So shit. Okay, there's only one person I would consider like really ass here, and it's Mike. Mike. Yeah, it's Mike. Mike, what's his name? I almost said Mike Kozowski. Mike, what's his last name? Shit. Michael Gentile. There it is. Michael Gentile. Michael Gentile is very lame. Well, I know that says lame on here, but he's shit, right? I just don't want to curse, right? I'm not one for cursing, but you know, I had to. And if you don't get these are like references to my channel, right? If you're a fan, right? But anyway, all right. Let's see who's next. I don't want to do Mike Manzi right now. Stephen Buchanan. Let's put him as mid. I don't really care about like. Why am I trying? I can't talk. I'm sorry. Mike Manzi. It's not Mike Manzi. It's Stephen Buchanan, right? Lame. I honestly, like low key, Joshua Cullen's kind of lame, because he kind of did nothing. Like the best part of his segment that we've watched is his interview, and I don't really put that in pause into what I'm like. There's something on my foot. A little bit concerned. This video's all over the place. I'm so sorry, but you know, hey, I know some people really like to hear me, right? What the fuck is this? Oh, it's a plastic. Sorry. Anyway, still in the closet. Anyway, Jesse Velez. Jesse Velez is a banger, man. He's so good. He's actually so good. His entire segment, even from the start, from like his interaction with the decoy was perfect. I think it's the best interaction with a decoy that we've ever had, and that's mainly because the decoy was pretty bad. You know, what I mean, it's the supposed 30-year-old man, but I'm pretty sure he's like 20 or like 19 or even 18. Like I heard that he was younger than Nervous Nelly, but I'm not sure if that's actually right. I don't think that's like true, but still though, his interaction with the decoy was probably his highlight, and not even just that, like his oh, sorry, I'm burping. His actual talk with Chris Hansen is actually like really good too, because God, why am I burping so much? Anyway, his interaction with Chris is actually really good. I'm burping hella a lot because like you can see that he's trying to be like the whole like customer service type of like character, right? Because why am I getting these mixed up? I'm trying to say Mike Manzi. I might have to rate him right now. Rate that. Anyway, I'm getting all the names mixed up. Jesse Velez is a manager at a Jersey Mike's sandwich shop, right? So him keeping a smile, being friendly is kind of like his nature when it comes to like, of course his profession, but he's kind of, I don't know why. I always think that he's kind of manipulative in a way, Jesse Velez, But anyway, let's continue. So we have Joshua Cologne. Josh, right? Josh, I think is lame. And I have a very, I should have like given a reason for like the other ones that I haven't, because these reasons are actually pretty good. So Joshua Cologne, the reason why I'm putting him in lame is because outside of his interview, Josh and like his like very cringy interaction with the decoy, there's nothing else. You know what I mean? I know that's a lot. It's like, oh, like just the beginning and the back half are good. What I'm trying to say is the interaction with Chris was very boring. You know what I mean? He essentially didn't say much. You know what I mean? The interaction with the decoy is the only reason why I'm putting him in lame. His interview, I don't consider the interviews when it comes to these. You know what I mean? For some reason. I don't know. I'm trying to keep it like, only in the house. You know what I mean? Only in the house. But, yeah, Joshua Cologne to me is a lame. Let's see. So we have Mike Manzi, finally. Mike Manzi is I think he's a lame. Let me think about his segment. Yeah, he's lame as hell. That's what I should have named this tier, right? No, he might actually even be so shit, man. Because, okay, I'll tell you my train of thought. So, interaction with Deco was very poor, right? All he did was like be like, he made a very bad like conversation starter. It was like, well, no, it's not weird. It's just, I hate those type of people. So like those are some points off of him. Then I think about his interaction with Chris. He kind of pissed me off when he was like being like, sir, can I talk, or you're just gonna read the thing, right? He was very whiny to me. And then like, yeah, he had that interaction with Ron Knight, and it was pretty funny, but like honestly, I just don't like him. I just don't like his segment. I think it's very boring. So I'm gonna go so shit, man. Okay, Charles Lawrence. He's a mid as freak. Like that's a straight up right, because the best part about him was his interaction with the decoy, right? He didn't notice that the decoy looked very like mature for his age, right? I know, very weird to say, but not even just that. His interaction with the police, his like defense was very long, and it went nowhere. It just essentially was like, oh well, I'm an accountant. Yeah, I deal with a lot of numbers, and I'm able to see like a lot of things on screens and papers. I need to read a lot. But all of a sudden, when texting this decoy, I am now blind. That was his entire ploy. Was like, hey, I can't see, right? That's his defense, because if you aren't aware, Charles Lawrence did not have an interaction with Chris Hansen. He actually recognized Chris Hansen because they actually used to know each other. Supposedly, allegedly, Chris knew him like on the bus or something like that, on the train, the commuter train, in Fairfield. But yeah, this is my list. So it's time to explain the other ones I didn't. I just kind of slapped them on here. So Ron Knight. This is a very meme post, but he has to go out here. But because like it's even the picture that he was on HPP, right? Banger. Ron Knight is one of the best bodyguards to ever exist. I mean, I don't think I could ever sleep in safe if I didn't have Ron Knight there. You know what I mean? I'm saying like he's my bodyguard, but he's not. But if he was, I would sleep very safe, man. I'd be catching my Z's, really well, right? I guess, I don't know. So, okay, John Dupay. You already know John Dupay, why I love him so much, man. Like, and just keep in mind, like, the love thing only goes so far. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I would, like, I would even go as far as to say they're innocent or something, right? They're good people. I'm not. It's just mainly almost the entertaining factor as well. Like, that's kind of what I'm grading right now. But John Dupay, he's a classic. Like, he's not a classic. He's a banger. But his segment is classic. Like, the Steelers and the Ravens, the Cheetos, the dark chocolate, right? All this and that. And the way John Dupay interacted with the decoy in the very beginning was very good, just because of how creepy it was. You know what I mean? John Dupay was he did not look good, and the decoy was very nervous, dare I say, right? But yeah, his interaction with Chris is definitely one of the highlights of his entire thing. And I said I wasn't going to count his police thing, but, in this case I am, because his interaction with police was also very good. But, just based solely off of the interaction with Chris and in the house, he's top tier. His whining and crying about how he didn't do anything. He wasn't going to do anything. He was just going to watch football. They were going to eat cannolis, right? Or whatever, or salad, right? It was very good because John Dupay had nothing to say. He was, and I know that sounds a bit, whatever it's called. What is it called? Counterintuitive. But it's how John is as a person that I love a lot when it came to the segment, because John Dupay was very, like, first of all, he was very skinny, very tall, lanky, he looks like a skinwalker, right? And that all added to the whole segment, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Chris Hansen was in his prime while doing that, HVP, but seeing, John Dupay sweat his ass off was probably the best part of the entire thing. And also, he was also my very first Predator that I watched, so he holds a certain place in my heart, right? As far as it could go, like I said. But anyway, okay, Stephen Buchanan. I didn't give one for him or John Dupay. Jeff. Why am I saying Jeff Stacy? Jeff Sokol and Vincent Ambrosio. I didn't give these. Okay, so first, I'll go for Stephen Buchanan. So, the reason why I'm saying mid is because he shut down really hard, and the only reason why he's higher than lame is because his interaction with the decoy. The interaction with the decoy was crazy, was insane, and it was really creepy, and added to the entertaining factor, right? Of course, I'm not wishing harm on these decoys, right? But the entertaining factor of the segment was actually higher just because of how creepy Stephen Buchanan was at the door. And if you don't remember, right, he was like, oh, we could, like, go out to eat, right? Or we can go out in the middle of the night. It was, like, super dark at night, and he was like, yeah, just come out of the house, and I'll take you out for a trip, right? Sorry, anyway. I'm still coughing up stuff. Like, I'm not, like, fully out of the woods yet, but I feel good. I don't feel sick at all. I'm just coughing up stuff. Anyway, Steve Buchanan. So, beyond the interaction with the decoy, when he went into the house, and also we had that amazing shot of Ron Knight trying to act cool and being around the corner with his pistol, right, his revolver, and he probably got when he was born or something, right, because it looked pretty old and useless, right? But after the interaction goes on for a very long time, entertaining, Chris Hansen asked him to come in, and like Ron Knight's standing there like, oh, I'm a big macho man, if you do something I'll kill you, right? That's what he's portraying. But what do you call it? When he is talking with Chris is the reason why he's not a classic or a banger, right? Because when he's talking to Chris, he shuts down really hard. And he makes up a whole lie. Well, I say lie, but I know a lot of people got on my ass for being like, oh, yeah, he's a veteran, right? But who cares? His story doesn't protect him at all, right? And also, I know Chris dropped that, like, very funny message where he was like, what, are you the welcome wagon here in Fairfield, whatever? That was very funny. So that's why he's at mid, points were taken off because he shut down, but he got points for the interactions with the decoy and how that was. He even kind of cried too, which is I consider the garage part of the segment because it's still in the house. But he cried when he actually got arrested. That was really good. I'm actually put him in classic, but no, his interaction with Chris was very, very boring. When I watched it, most of the shock came from the interaction with the decoy, right? If I had just watched the interaction with Chris, I think it would have been very bad, like lame or even shit, right? But yeah, that's my 2 cents, right, about Stephen Buchanan. Why he's mid. Okay, so now we're going to Jeff Sokol, right? Jeff Sokol, banger, man. He might be banger, but he's classic because he made me mad. You know what I mean? Like, if he didn't make me mad when I watched this segment, I think he would be a banger, right? But he's classic. He's a classic Predator, not just like for the graph too, like just in general. Jeff Sokol is a very memorable guy when it came to the stings for HVP and even TCAP, to be honest. The pizza Predator, everyone was looking. I believe he's one of the most famous Predators, of recent time, right? I'm not gonna mention like the Lauren Armstrong, right? Because that's part of the TCAP, the TCAPist, right? In the mainstream, quote unquote, right, outside of the sphere of TCAP, I think Jeff Sokol was probably one of the most famous. That and like Jeff Stacy. Who else? Maybe I don't know. What is his name? John Connelly maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting some, but yeah, like some of the mainstream, and Vincent is also one, I think, Vincent Ambrosio. But yeah, back to his actual segment. So, the reason why he's in classic is because his interaction with the decoy is actually very, very interesting, because I believe it's one of the longest interactions that a Predator ever had with the decoy. So it was very interesting to see like how he was talking to her, and like how he wanted a hug, and how he stared at her like when she had her back turned and stuff. Very creepy. And then to add to his point graph, I guess, I don't know. His interaction with Chris was very interesting because he was very defensive and like very pushy and aggressive with Chris because of what he was saying, and that just earns him the spot of classic. No one really pushed Chris like how Jeff did in this segment, other than maybe Michael Gentile, but he doesn't count because he never did have a interaction with him, which it would have been very interesting if he did, right? Because he would have actually been something, right? But I should switch these two like that. Yeah. I'll switch them like that. So yeah, this is my lineup. Did I do Vincent? Okay, Vincent Ambrosio. He's a banger because of how good he cries. He's an amazing crier, man. Not to be mean, but when Vincent cries, he's making up an act, right? Vincent cries for so long, and like only he managed to squeeze out a little bit of tears, right? Other than him being maybe frustrated with himself that he got caught, he wasn't being genuine. And if you were to actually pay attention to how he is in the segment, he cries a lot, or he acts like he's crying, but no tears ever come out. You know what I mean? Only at the very end, where after like what 10 minutes, 5 minutes of him trying to cry, you know what I mean, he managed to squeeze out like some like little tears. Those are some tears that I get when I wake up, right? Like it wasn't anything crazy, you know what I mean? So him crying was the best part, because the act was beautiful, I gotta admit. You know what I mean? It's one of the best parts. He's like, oh, my life's a mess, right? Just shoot me, right? It's just very entertaining, right? Of course, I don't condone all that, right? But yeah, and then plus the interaction with the decoy is also interesting because he comes in very confident. He comes in very confident, and then his confidence just disappears when Chris Hansen comes out, right? And that makes sense. I don't like to think that he'd still be acting like that when he's exposed. But he's like, do you have movies, right? Like, very entertaining guy, right? He was very, very good. Yeah, like some people might find his crying like kind of like hard to listen to, but I think it's entertaining. But yeah, that's my list for now. This is how I find in entertaining wise, right? Now we're gonna rate them as who I hate the most, right? Who I hate the most. Which, to be honest, like maybe this graph won't change much, but I guess let me set reset this, right, and then we'll be back, right? Okay, so now we're doing like the second half, right? I reset it and it reset all my like tiers and stuff, but that doesn't matter, you know what I mean? It's just S who I hate the most, D who I hate the least, right? So these are kind of similar-ish of where they land. So first one is going to be, of course, Jeff Sokol, right? I hate Jeff Sokol. I dislike him like heavy. And I'm not gonna say that word too much because I know YouTube gets a little bit weary about like the whole like hate, right? It's hate speech, which I'm trying my best. You know what I mean? But anyway, so Jeff Sokol, right? I'm gonna say dislike. I dislike how aggressive he was to Chris Hansen. You know what I mean? He's caught, red-handed, and he's still very defensive about what he was doing there. And in these, I'm gonna definitely include the police interrogations. You know what I mean? I'm going to definitely include the police interrogations. So, when Jeff Sokol was also interacting with the police, he was very, again, pushy, right? Detective Kelly was on his ass. And, that's mainly the reason why I put him in most hated, right? I like to think that he is one of the ones that I don't like the most. You know what I mean? So, for the next one, right, we have John Dupay, right? I don't dislike, I am very tolerant of John Dupay, and you can probably understand why, because as much as he is just like everyone else, John Dupay I think seemed the least dangerous out of everyone here. But I think that's just naivety from me, because all of these are the same. You know what I mean? John Dupay, I don't particularly look him as, I hate him the most. I don't see it as that. Like, John Dupay is entertaining to me. You know what I mean? I know he's one of these people, but still, I'm not. Oh, I hate John Dupay. Right? I would never say that. I mean, that's why I'm putting him in least hated, right? But okay, so we have now Joshua Colon. Joshua Colon, I put him at A because of actually how much he actually is like a slimy guy. I guess I'll put it right. After he got caught, right, he confessed to the police about some of the things he used to do and like what he did in the past, and one of those things included actually being with a underage person in the past, and it was this boy, I forgot his name, David, I think. And the only reason why I remember that is because I have a friend named David. But anyway, yeah, so that's like my main reason to have him there, is because of his police interrogation. And I guess another thing I could kind of put in here is how creepy he was to the decoy. I dislike that heavy. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, you look hot or whatever. Like, dude, that is creepy beyond belief, right? And I hated that type of interaction, right? Because and then also like, he wasn't like nice to the decoy at all. Like, he was like, oh, I brought food only for myself, and then he asked to go to the restroom at this girl's house when he just got there, right? And all this and that. And yeah, that's where I'm placing Joshua Colon, right? Now you have Michael Gentile. I put him at A. I would put him at like, S. If it wasn't for the fact that, actually, I might even just put him at S. I hate him more than Joshua Colon though, so I guess I'll move him closer to A. Okay, so the main thing I dislike about Gentile is how arrogant he is, right? And you know what? Just by saying that, I'm moving him to S. He is actually really bad. Yeah, I hate how arrogant he is, and actually how creepy he actually was with the decoy, and his obsession with nudity, right? And that is something that I dislike. Gentile was a very creepy guy. Yeah, I mean, once he actually got into the interrogation, right, he denied a lot of it, and he also kind of betrayed his wife. I mean, he cheated, of course, but like the betrayal to his poor wife is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, this poor wife just gets a call saying that you're in jail over meeting someone this age. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy, and he showed no concern, to be honest. Yeah, so that's why I put him in S, I guess. Yeah, I mean, he is one of those guys that I think is one of the most slimy, other than Jeff Sokol. But Jeff Sokol I hate for other reasons. You know what I mean? Other more important reasons, I guess. You know what I mean? But these two are kind of the same, to be honest. They're kind of the same. But okay, we have Mike. No, it's not Mike. Stephen Buchanan. I'm gonna put him at C, actually. I'm gonna put him at C. And the only reason why I'm doing C and not a B is because I don't think about Stephen Buchanan a lot. I really don't. And the reason why he's not D, because I don't think about him enough, is because of how he had that supposed kill kit in his car and how like dangerous his segment really was. And I dislike that because like the reality of all of these, I think Steve Buchanan is the most realistic one, where like the interaction is like for real, you know what I mean? But let's see, what else. So I would dislike him a lot more if he did talk. Steve Buchanan essentially said nothing. You know what I mean? He didn't give me a reason to be like, oh, F this guy, or like, this and that. But the reason why he's a step above not hating him at all is because of his very dangerous aspect to him, right? Because Steve Buchanan legit had like, the serial killer ass like interaction with the decoy, you know what I mean? And like he was very forceful, like, oh, get out the house. But other than that, he's a C to me. Okay, Mike Manzi. I'll put him at a B. I'll actually put him at a B because I hate how arrogant he was when it came to Chris's like, conversation stuff, and he's like, oh, I can't afford this, I need to get out of here, I didn't do anything, right? Like very whiny, very annoying in a sense. But yeah, this is what I'm placing him at, right? A B. The only reason why I don't hate him more is because he kind of slips under the radar for me sometimes. Yeah, I mean, he just goes about, meeting the decoy. He gets caught almost instantly, right, by Chris. And that's kind of where that is left, right? Yeah, he was kind of, a little bit pushy and, like, kind of, like, I'm more important when it came to, like, the conversation with Chris. But other than that, there isn't really much else. All right, so now we have Jesse Velez. I'm going to put him at a C. Am I going to put him at a C? Actually, I'll put him at a D. I don't ever think about, like, Jesse in a bad way. You know what I mean? Mainly because, he was very... his interaction with the decoy was also very funny. I was never like, oh, this guy's creepy, right? Because realistically, when he showed up, he was, like, very weary about it. He was, like, very scared, essentially the entire time. So, but I'll move. This is, I guess, the least I hate and the most I hate is up here, right? So I'll put Joshua Cologne. Actually, no, it's not even Joshua Cologne. What is it called? What is it called? John Dupay. I'm actually gonna put Jesse actually even lower than John Dupay because I still recognize that John Dupay was being very weird, and that phone call also doesn't help him, right? For John Dupay, right? But back to Jesse. So, his interaction was like very mundane, right? Chris was like, oh, you sent a weenie pic. He was like, oh, I didn't know I sent that, right? He didn't really become very aggressive, and he was he wasn't very dismissive either. He was like, oh, it was a mistake. I know that it's dismissive, but like it's not like, oh, we weren't gonna do anything, right? I was just gonna watch TV, right? He wasn't like that. I mean, he kind of treated it more as like this is a lesson learned, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where that was left. So yeah, that's my reason for not disliking him more is because of that. Charles Lawrence, I actually don't know where to put him. I might put him at C or a B. I'll put him at a B, and I'll give you a reason why. So, Charles Lawrence, I hate him more based on the fact of how, in denial he was. He tried his hardest to be like, oh, I didn't do anything, right? He thought he could be smarter than police, and he thought that him just saying that he was blind, I mean, even with glasses on, he was like, oh, these aren't prescriptive, yeah, whatever it's called, is very lame, because it's like you're in denial and you're being very, pushy about the fact that you did get caught. You're trying to act like nothing went wrong when something did go wrong, right? You're trying to meet this kid. At least it lives right around the corner. If Charles did not travel long, I'm pretty sure he lived in the same neighborhood or something, right? It was crazy. But, yeah, the reason why he's not a C is because of his arrogance with him being guilty. He lied his ass off. He really tried his best to be like, oh, I didn't do anything, right? And that's his, if he didn't do any of that, sorry, not to mention that how he just ran. And I hate that. Not because we didn't get to see, like, what he was going to say, but, he saw Chris and he ran because he knew what was happening. and he still tries to deny it, right? Like if it was anything, if it wasn't anything, why would you run? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my explanation for for Charles Lawrence. So I know we have Ron Knight next, but we'll leave him for last, right? Anyway, I just burped again. Vincent Ambrosio, I hate him a lot. I actually dislike him a lot. One reason and one reason only. He's a liar. He's a massive liar. Vincent Ambrosio is a massive liar. He lies about, you know, his difficulties and stuff. Like, yeah, I won't say that he lies. He is putting up an act. Like, maybe his struggles are real and he kind of flips them as like, oh, my life's a mess. You know what I mean? I get that. But the part that I hate the most is how in depth he was when it came to doing this kind of thing. Because Vincent Ambrosio was no slouch. Vincent Ambrosio genuinely made a like attempt to be like, oh, you're not a cop, right? Oh, like, you know, he even sent a weenie pig. He sent a weenie pig, Jesus. And he was like asking very, very inappropriate questions, and that's just crazy. And then also you have to remember, it's, you know, the decode was 12 as well. Like, that is some leagues above trying to be like, oh, just trying to be friendly, right? The things he said in his chat log are heinous, and boy, is that a reason to dislike him so much. Like, his interaction with Chris, I think it's all a lie. You know, you see him cry for so long and nothing comes out, like, seriously. And, you know, the look he has too, right, his outfit stuff, his outfit choices aren't really the best. But the reason why he's mainly in most hated is because of his, you know, his victim, you know, like, not aspect, but like, he tried to play himself as a victim when in reality he was probably the creepiest out of everyone here in messages. He was very, very bad. He even threatened to, like, you know, get rid of himself, right, like that, just because the decoy didn't message him back, or like he, you know, she wouldn't do something for him and he'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go and jump off a bridge, right, or something crazy. Now, I know he didn't say that like in actuality, but like that's what I'm trying to say, is he threatened, you know, that. And yeah, man, I just honestly, I might put him above Gentile, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna put him above Gentile, screw it. Yeah, this is my list for most hated, quote unquote, right? Most hated. And Raw Knight. An S tier, man. Raw Knight is an S tier. Because listen to me. How is it that for like what, 10, 15 years Raw Knight was a security, like head of security, by the way. Raw Knight was meant to be like the tippity top, right? And he's not that good. You know what I mean? The moment that I see Raw Knight trying to like mug me, trying to beat me up, I am perfectly safe, right? I am not worried in the slightest. Raw Knight couldn't hurt a fly. You know what I mean? And he tries to act like he's the best, right? You know, he's a bodyguard. You know what I mean? He had that little pistol thing in this segment, you know, in the past as well. He, you know, put himself up as a barrier and stuff, and it never worked, right? And yeah, you know, I don't know how anyone could ever like him, type, you know, is what I'm saying. But yeah, that'll be it for this video, right? I hope you enjoyed it and it's not weird, because it is a very weird video. I'm not reacting to anything, right? I'm not commentating. You know, this is commentary. I'm just not watching a video. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. You know, just so you know, I'm recording this on Saturday the 9th and I'm finishing right now at 11:42. This is going to come out almost instantly, right? And I was sitting in my bed like, you know what? I just cannot believe I haven't recorded anything in a while. I do have a video that is coming out, you know, soon. It's actually a John Dupay redo, and I'm actually doing like an actual Poston this time, because I actually never did one for him. So I didn't want to do like, oh, editing, like, oh, I just wasn't feeling it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do a video that doesn't require anything. So we did this. And thanks, August, again, right? You didn't message me, but you like did the little poll thing on my story, you know, and you gave me the idea, which was a very good idea. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. You know, thank you for watching. You know, thank you for sticking with me. You know, and if you made it this far, thanks, right? But we'll leave it at that, and have a good day. Goodbye.